who will battle in this battle of powerhouse teams in the semifinals. Let's find out. Joining us right now for an all-out preview of the PBA Commissioner's Cup semifinals is basketball analyst Juan Banal. Juan B, good morning. Welcome back to the show. Like I said, pag PBA playoffs, ito yung time na busy at papatrabahuin natin si Juan Banal at least 2 times, 3 times a week. Good morning, Juan B.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning to your viewers. It's interesting, no? We have so much happening in the local basketball scene that we even end up having NCAA playing in Ñares. That's how many all at the same time.
Bro, walang venue. Wala kasing venue. Ang daming nangyayari. And the UAAP, if ever mag-game 3, it will be on Monday at the Big Dome again. But let's talk about the PBA. Unahin na muna natin itong PBA semifinals matchup. Unahin natin yung San Miguel Bay Area. 2 powerhouse teams, and a lot has been said in this particular matchup. Bay Area has been dominant in the Commissioner's Cup. San Miguel naman has its fair share of struggles in this conference. I want to get your initial assessment of this best of 5 powerhouse battle between Bay Area and San Miguel.
I love the semifinals. I mean, every single team that's playing are considered PBA titans. Bay Area, on one hand, probably tops around 5 categories in the stat list. But you know, from the onset, you'd probably say that Bay Area definitely has that advantage against San Miguel, but you cannot disregard the fact that San Miguel is a perennial finals contender. It's got the multi-awarded MVP in Junmar Fajardo. Very deep lineup now that you've got the 2 guys. I'm talking about Terrence Romeo and Junmar, you know, almost in 100% full form. And you have also San Miguel on a run, right? They're on this good upward trajectory, and they're going to be meeting itong Bay Area in the top. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Ali Fraser type of bout with something that we'll be all witnessing.
Bakbakan no? Talagang it will be a really big showdown, especially with Junmar back, with Terrence Romeo back, San Miguel in full force. Although coaching situation, si Coach George Gallant has been doing a fantastic job taking over in the sidelines habang wala si Coach Leo Austria. But it's been a while since nakita natin si Coach Leo at the helm for SMB. Si Coach George Gallant has been given that full control. Dahil maganda naman ang pinapakita so far ni Coach George dito sa SMB. 6 straight wins with SMB. Do you think game 1, sabi na nga, nilabas na officially na si Coach George mag-head coach dito in this particular game 1 against Bay Area. Pero should the SMB management ride itong kabayo ni Coach George all the way, tuloy-tuloy na natin, and then what will happen naman with Coach Leo if that's the case?
Well, you can never take away what Coach Leo has achieved for SMB, right? The championships that he has won. But at the same time, it's a testament also how he would always, deflect the praises, and he would always say that it's not just me, it's my coaching staff, it's the players. And he would, di ba, pagka ini-interview siya, lagi niya sinasabi, pinagmumukha niyo na naman akong magaling. And I think that's just how humble Coach Leo is. And at the same time, how he credits his coaching staff that it's not a one-man show. And this is a testament after winning 6 straight games. I don't think even Coach George would take full credit of it. He would definitely also acknowledge Coach Peter Martin, Coach Ato Agustin, and the rest of the coaching staff, how collaborative they are, how they just work so cohesively. And so it looks like you're not just against one coach, but you're against the entire coaching staff of SMB, which has led to multiple wins nga, as we mentioned a while ago. So I think regardless if Coach Leo is there or not, he's been able to set the right tone. He's been able to set the right system that the coaches are now continuously just pursuing and implementing.
Mm-hmm. Yung Bay Area naman, parang monsters nga, sabi mo. They have that huge advantage because size pa lang, lamang na talaga sila sa mga guards na mula guards hanggang bigs. Mga ang lalaki, mga higante. Do you see San Miguel's bigs playing more minutes here against Bay Area, particularly si Vic Manuel, Mo Tautua, especially against a really tall Bay Area Dragons team, do you expect a bigger lineup from SMB?
Well, if you have six players averaging above 10 points in a game, and then you've got roughly around 4 or 5 players close to averaging 10 rebounds per game, you definitely hit the nail on the head when you said this is the Monstars, right? But with the comparison nga with them, you've got 2 or 3 players averaging 10 above 10 points for the Bay Area, and then but yung kabila naman yung San Miguel, ganun din naman sila. You've got a couple of players also averaging. So in terms of bigs for bigs, pound for pound, that's why we said it's just pure talent versus pure talent, and that's what's exciting to watch here, di ba? But yes, even if dehado yung San Miguel pagdating sa height, but they still have the muscle, right? Imagine this is the only time that we're actually seeing Junmar being dwarfed by another player. But the way, the style of play, how heavy the post players of San Miguel are, can actually match the players of Bay Area. So I do believe that the guards, I will not disregard the fact that the guards are very talented from both ends, but I would love to see just yung bugbugan, yung wrestling match na mangyayari in the shaded area, and how the San Miguel Bearmen, from Vic Manuel to Mota Tua to Rondy Bronial, even to Devon Scott, will have their hands full but work cohesively and collectively to really hold the fort in the shaded area. So yes, from the onset, mukhang dehado yung San Miguel, but palaban naman sila and they have the experience.
Well, if we go back to that elimination round meeting, they're only meeting Panalong Bay Area doon. You know what they say, throw everything out of the window. But if we're gonna base it on the last time that they met, Bay Area has been really, kumbaga, impressive this conference, especially in that meeting. Walang Terence Romeo, walang Junmar Fajardo in that one. Kung babalikan nga natin yung game na yun. And then, bago na yung import ngayon, Devon Scott has also been solid for SMB lately. Do you think we should, kumbaga, that doesn't matter anymore, that elimination round meeting and itong semis, it's a totally different story with a full force SMB lineup, and then you add a pumped up Devon Scott, also an import that Bay Area hasn't faced when they took on San Miguel in that elimination round meeting?
Well, Junmar Fajardo is averaging 17 points in the last 7 games, and then Terence is averaging close to 16 points in the last 3 games that he has played, and both of them are close to shooting at 50% from the field, on an average, both of them collected. And so that talks about the immediate impact of two superstars in Terence Romeo and Junmar Fajardo, and what I like about them being in the lineup right now compared to how they were when they initially played Bay Area in the eliminations is that Junmar changes the dynamics of the entire San Miguel lineup. When he's on the floor, when the offense is on him, the offense changes. But at the same time, when Terence is on the floor and the ball is with him and he's their focal point in offense, it also changes the dynamics of San Miguel in how they play. And so now, if you're Bay Area, it's not just, looking at one system and one style of play. San Miguel has now the option to throw you different curveballs depending on what they feel is needed at that moment. So they have now more options to attack and really give Bay Area a more mind-boggling situation in terms of what kind of defense should they play when the ball isn't with Terence, or when the ball is with Junmar, and or the regular lineup that they have. So it's going to be an interesting match. I don't think they have enough time to really, talking about Bay Area, talk about how the full potential. They haven't really seen Junmar Fajardo at his peak, nor have they seen Terence Romeo. And in this semifinals, that can come out because these two guys are highly competitive, and when they smell blood, parang nagsusuper saiyan yung parehas eh. So Bay Area will have the run for their money.
Well, it will be a great matchup for sure. Bay Area versus San Miguel. Do you see this going the distance, 1B? Forecast mo. Aabot to ng Game 5, and anong tingin mo Game 1 mamaya? SMB, Bay Area?
I would have to say it might be Bay Area in Game 1. But that's going to be now a chess match leading up to Game 5, which I hope we're going to get another Game 5. I hope this series goes the distance. But if if the championship experience of San Miguel comes out in this play, and again, just the home court advantage, that's just a different dynamics and variable in this whole series. So San Miguel might end up on top, but game one, I have a strong feeling that it might be Bay Area.
Well, Juan, dyan ka lang dahil one done, meron pa tayong pag-uusapan. Tapos na tayo sa SMB and sa Bay Area. Going back in the PBA, the latest chapter of Manila Clasico between Barangay Ginebra and the Magnolia Hotshots is taking place in the Commissioner's Cup semifinals. What should we expect from this rivalry now that the stakes are even higher? Basketball analyst Juan Banal is still with us here on the show to preview this Manila Clasico semis edition in the Commissioner's Cup. Juan, ito na. Manila Clasico semis, Ginebra, Magnolia, Coach Chito Victorero against winningest coach in the PBA, Tim Cone. What can we expect from the showdown between Ginebra and Magnolia?
Well, it seems like the basketball god really granted the Filipinos a good take and a good preview of what the finals could look like by having a really entertaining semifinals and having the Clasico in the semifinals. We're kind of used to it, but you never get really used to it. And if you get what I mean, like we know that we were excited.
Yeah.
Again, sila na naman ang maghaharap. And the stakes are higher, as you said, because it's the semifinals. But then you just don't want it to end. You kind of want it over and over. And it's that addiction that you want about this Clasico and this kind of level of basketball. And you've got a really strong front line with Japet. And then you've got also
Sistan.
Christian Sanhart. Brownlee, and then you've got also probably arguably right now as it is the best backcourt in Gio Halalon, Mark Baroka, and si Paul Lee. So but we as we know time and again, every time we talk about Clasico, we know Ginebra to be that very controlled and mature offense. That's why they're leading in the league in terms of assists. And then you have naman Magnolia, who plays pesky and physical defense. That's why they're also leading the league in points allowed. So again, offense, defense, gonna be an interesting Manila Clasico again.
Well, pabor nga to sa mga fans kasi usually, di ba, Manila Clasico, every Christmas Day lang naglalaro. Eto, kung umabot ng Game 5 to, aabot hanggang December 23, Friday lang games din yon. Well, pag-usapan natin itong quality imports ng parehong Ginebra and Magnolia. Siyempre, Justin Brownlee, ever super reliable, laging maasahan, do it all. Ito yung mga numbers si Brownlee in 14 games, 28 points per game, 10 boards a game, 7 assists per game. And then, ito naman napakasipag na Serbian-American import ng Magnolia na si Nick Rakocevic in 13 games played for the Hotshots, 24 a game, 18 boards a game, and 2 assists as well. If we compare these two, magkaiba ang laro nila eh. Dahil Brownlee, we know he's a wing, he can score from anywhere, inside, outside, create for his teammates, kaya mas marami siyang assists kay Rakocevic. Si Rako naman on the other hand, parang siyang big man version ni Abueva kasi energy, kahit di mo gawan ng play, he will set the screens, dive to the basket, dive to the ring, talagang offensive rebound. Sabi nga ni Coach Tim Cone, babantayan niya daw ng maigi si Rako dito sa semis. What makes this particular import matchup of Nick Rakocevic against Justin Brownlee very interesting and a Christmas gift to all the fans?
Well, you're witnessing top performances in their specific field. Justin Brownlee, like you mentioned, plays in the wing. Rakocevic is more of a big man. But I feel like Nick Rakocevic is exactly what the doctor ordered for Magnolia.
Yeah.
His style of play, the ability, the things that he brings into the table fits the Magnolia system like a glove. So they really chose their import well. Justin Brownlee, on the other hand, has always been, and now again, it's one signature away from being naturalized, is actually more of a Filipino than most of us. And so, you just love seeing both guys compete in different categories, and the way they bring in the contribution, because they contribute differently as well to their respective squads. But Coach Tim Cone said they really had a difficult time pushing Nick Rakosovic out of the shaded area to get him to stop getting those rebounds, because after those rebounds, Magnolia is able to run. Every time they're able to secure that offensive or defensive board. And so Christian Sanhardinger, Justin Brownlee, and Japet Aguilar will have to work collectively and together to be able to shut down itong si Nick Rakosovic. And they're not even talking about the way he's scoring. They're shutting him down in terms of rebounding, because they know that the offense of Magnolia and their speed begins with those crucial rebounds that he's getting.
Well, hindi lang namang import ang aabangan dito. Grabe din mga locals on both sides. Pero guards, grabe, sabi mo nga, yung backcourt na Magnolia, Paulie, lethal weapon, angas ang tundo. Tapos may Mark Baroka ka pa, si Kofi Prince, meron ka pang Gio Halalon. Tapos sa kabila naman, may Scottie Thompson ka, who's do it all and the reigning PBA MVP. May Eli Tenorio, may Stanley Pringle, nilagyan mo pa ng Jeremiah Gray, may Nards Pinto. May wing ka pa na elite din na si Jamie Malonzo, high-flying. Pag-usapan natin tong matchup of the locals as well, dahil hindi lang naman imports ang aabangan natin dito. So, how about Paulie and Scottie Thompson? Ano yung mga gusto mong i-highlight or gusto mo na Mark Baroka versus Eli Tenorio? Ikaw bahala. Anong gusto mong i-highlight dito? How interesting is this local matchup as well in the backcourt?
Well, I think there's just so many talking points with the addition of Jeremiah Gray and ito nga si Jamie Malonzo to Ginebra. It all of a sudden changed how Ginebra plays their game. They just have now so many options in terms of style of play. They want to run, they want to push the floor, they want to shoot from the outside. Just that having Jeremiah Gray, Stanley Pringle, and Jamie Malonzo all at the same time. Imagine how fast that is. But then I kind of want to zero in on Paulie and Scottie Thompson. I think in terms of the backcourt, they are what people will be watching. I'm just happy to see Paulie playing so well, because in the Governor's Cup, he wasn't 100%. I think also in the Philippine Cup, he had back spasms. Pero lately here in the Commissioner's Cup, he's performing well. He's been playing well, rarely would miss a game. If not, I haven't missed. I'm not so sure about that data. But, you see a healthy Paulie. And you kind of want to see that in the semifinals in the Manila Classico, wherein hopefully they are both healthy in terms of the backcourt. On the other hand, you've got Scottie Thompson, who's gonna have his hands full because nga wala si Nards Pinto. He is that backup point guard together with LA. Rarely plays point guard now. He's more of a two guard. It's really Scottie Thompson setting up for Ginebra. LA they're trying to pace him also because they need him in the postseason in crucial moments of the game. And usually Nards Pinto plays that crucial role of relieving Scottie Thompson. But now that he's out also because of injury, then Scottie will have to carry that heavy load. And if this reaches until Game 5, then we're not so sure how Ginebra will be adjusting and how they can also help delegate that responsibility and relieve Scottie from having to carry the entire point guarding role for the entire series.
Mabilisan, Juan. Ginebra, Magnolia in this series. Abot ba Game 5? Game 1, sino mananalo?
This is tough. I feel like it's still Ginebra. But I look at Game 5 and it's unpredictable. I think both of them, I think anybody can take this.
Well, Juan, stay with us dahil meron pa tayong UAAP. Huwag natin kalilimutan, Game 2 of the UAAP Men's Basketball Finals in Season 85. Thank you for joining us here on Sports Desk only on CNN Philippines. And our guest today, of course, Basketball Analyst Juan Banal. Now, Juan, let's talk about Game 2 of the UAAP Men's Basketball Finals. Matatapos sa mamamaya, UP, Ateneo. It hasn't been done before, back-to-back, and two championships in one calendar year. Can UP finally do it? It took them 36 years to break that championship curse. What do you think, Juan?
Well, it depends on Ateneo's Ange Kwame and Padrigo. That's my take. Ange Kwame, he has to take advantage of UP having Malik Diouf and Carl Tamayo coming off the bench. So whenever that happens, I think Ange Kwame should at least get to the free throw line or get those easy twos. He has to stop shooting those fadeaways. And Padrigo has to be healthy. He just played 22 minutes in the last game, but was the top scorer for Ateneo. So knowing that Ateneo doesn't have that deep bench yet, they will have to depend heavily on Padrigo and Kwame to get those buckets and break the defense of UP. But if they're not able to solve that, then UP might win game 2.
Well, as the season progressed, parang mas nagpakita ang maturity ang UP over Ateneo. Yung Ateneo kasi supposedly may structured system yan di ba? Dahil Tab Baldwin and everything. Nagulat ka ba na parang mas composed, mas matured itong UP, looking at Carl Tamayo, although he had limited minutes because of that sprained ankle. Save Lucero has been very big. Maymay, si JD Kagulangan, has been solid, steady at the guard spot. Nagulat ka ba na parang mas, yun nga, mas mature itong UP, lalo na in that game 1?
Yeah, well, you have to admit that UP was favored coming into this series, and Ateneo did play down a little bit by saying, this isn't yet their full strength. They're really surprised and they surpassed expectations being in the finals. But, it was supposed to be a pretty close game. I think down to 3 minutes, it was just 4 points. So, and then Ange Kwame tried to hit a 3 from the outside, miss. And then that's when, if he made that, then 1 point lang yung lamang and it could have been a different ball game, right? So Ateneo did play well in the last 3 minutes by playing good defense. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make their baskets, but all throughout the game, UP played well, good defense. And so yung sustained defense ng UP was the key, and they're also able to score. Ateneo, on the other hand, was able to play good defense in the end, but wasn't able to convert. So that seemed to be the big differentiator in game 1.
Forecast, matatapos sa mamaya, UP in 2 games, back-to-back, or will Ateneo force a game 3 on Monday? Go.
It's highly dependent on Ange Kwame. Ange Kwame will have to play his A game, will have to make the right decisions, show maturity, take advantage of the lapses or whoever's guarding him when it's not Malik Diouf. And that's going to spell the whole lot of difference. If not, then it will be UP.
Well, Juan, as
Sadly,
always,
for us.
Maraming salamat sa'yo. Always a pleasure having you, and we will be having you again for sure. Talk about PBA, UAP, or anything basketball. Juan Banal is the guy.